Thank you.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Arvindax Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvindax Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for joining the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees, Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This is Sri Hari Radha Devidasi from Fairfax, Virginia. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev and to you and to everyone in the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sri Hari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gupka Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj and all assembled devotees. This is Varsha from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Varsha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumar Devidasi from Raleigh.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, this is Kamadi Kedasi from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kamutiki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Shyama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shyam Gauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all glories to assembled devotees. This is Radha from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees on the call, and all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Anita from Sharjah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This is Shushmita from Mississauga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the devotees.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Shushmita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devidasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? So, welcoming to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are fortunate to have Sukumar Gaur Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18 and 30th verse. I would like to give the hand over the call to Tiffany Mataji to give a brief introduction about Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Mataji, please take over the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji was born in Maharashtra, India in 1980. Brought up in a social background where spirituality was often questioned, he developed a natural taste for inquiry into the mysteries of God's creation. Prabhuji passed College of Engineering, Pune in mechanical engineering in 2003. He came in touch with the devotees of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in 2003, and he found all his questions answered in Srila Prabhupada's books. As an MBA student of finance, he studied Srila Prabhupada's books and became a sincere practitioner. He joined the NCDEX, National Commodities and Derivatives Exchange of Mumbai, as assistant manager and worked there for 3 years. Later, he took a 2-year brahmachari training course at Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Temple in Mumbai and was initiated into the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2010. Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji always wanted to share his joy for Krishna consciousness with youth, so he gave up his job and began serving in the youth preaching department. He joined ISKCON Chowpatty as a resident in 2009. Later, he was posted to the ISKCON Nasik temple. He is serving as a youth counselor in various colleges in Nasik. He conducts seminars on personality development topics in educational and corporate sectors. Hare Krishna. So glad to have him with us today.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, you're muted.
Yeah, now is it audible?
Now good, Prabhu. Yeah, we can hear
done.
you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Please accept.
So just a moment, let me make an adjustment. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Kankaroti Vacharam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamam Vande Shri Guru Dinataram Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Paramanandam. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, text number 30. The title and chapter entitled The Prayers Offered to Lord by Residents of Shambhudev. Yeah. So here we have the shloka. Om Namo Bhagavate Akuparaya Sarvasattva Guna Visheshana Ayanupalakshitasthanaya Namo Varshmane Namo Bhumne Namo Namo Avasthanaya Namaste. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances to you, who have assumed the form of a tortoise. You are the reservoir of all transcendental qualities, and being entirely untinged by matter, you are perfectly situated in pure goodness. You move here and there in water, but no one can discern your position. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Because of your transcendental position, you are not limited by past, present, future. You are present everywhere as the shelter of all things. And therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. Translation by Prabhupada. Purport by Prabhupada. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Goloka eva nivasatya akilatma bhuto. The Lord always remains in Goloka, the topmost planet in the spiritual world. At the same time, He is all pervading. This paradox is only possible for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full in all opulences. The Lord's all-pervasiveness is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 18.61, where Krishna states, Ishvara sarva bhutana ritteshe arjuna tishtati. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, the Lord says, Sarvasya chaham ridhisannivishta matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Therefore, although the Lord is present everywhere, He cannot be seen by ordinary eyes. As Aryama says, the Lord is anupalakshita sthana. No one can locate Him. This is the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all devotees for this morning session of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm so grateful to all of you for allowing me to make a presentation on Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 18th chapter. Prayers offered by various devotees in the 7 people. So this is also very interesting shloka where the devotees are offering prayers to Lord Kurmadev. There are certain qualities of Lord Kurmadev that are mentioned here. About 6 qualities of Lord are mentioned here. They are saying the Lord as Bhagavata. That means you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Akuparaya. Akuparaya is a tortoise. They say that, Lord, you have taken the form of a tortoise. And second quality of the Lord that is mentioned here is Sarva Sattva Guna Visheshanaya, whose form consists of pure goodness. That is what we call as Shuddha Sattva, not the ordinary goodness, that is Shuddha Sattva, transcendental goodness. Third, they say Ana Upalakshita Sthanaya. Upalakshita. Lakshita is whom you can see. Alakshita is you cannot see. Here they are trying to say that the Lord's position is not discernible. Nama, they are offering obeisances. Varshmane, to whom they are offering? Unto you who, although you are the oldest, but time has no effect on you. That's called Varshmane. Nama, again they are offering obeisances. Bhumne. Bhumne means one who can go anywhere and everywhere at any given point of time. He exists in all space-time. Nama, again we are offering our obeisances. Avasthanaya. Avasthanaya is the shelter of everything. Shelter of everything means without Krishna, nothing can exist here in the material world. Namaste. So they're offering again obeisances. Every line they're offering obeisances. That is the point we have to understand why so many obeisances are offered here again and again. Because when I understand somebody's glory, then I am able to connect with that person's greatness. Just like Arjuna in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, This is the time when in the 10th chapter, Arjuna is requesting Lord Krishna, please show me your universal form. I want to see how, in what way you are all pervading. And when he sees the universal form of the Lord, that is where Arjuna is so shocked. When he sees, oh my God, what is the greatness of this person with whom I was sleeping and I was eating and I was enjoying and I was frolicking here and there. That is where Arjuna is very fearful. Oh, in my dealings with the Lord, I may have committed some mistake. That is where he says in the 41st and the 42nd shloka, Sakheti matva prasabam yaduktam, He Krishna, He Yadav, He Sakheti. He's saying, oh, I sometimes spoke you as Krishna. Sometimes I said, hey Yadav. I said, sometimes I used to call you as my friend. Ajanata. The same point that in this shlok is mentioning, Ajanata mahimanam tavedam. I was not aware of your mahima, of your glory. And since I was not aware of your glory, maya pramada pranayeshu api, and that is where I took your association very cheaply. Cheaply in the sense, I was very casual in my dealings with you. Maya pramada pranayena vapi. That is what he is saying here. So we have to understand that even Arjuna, a devotee like Arjuna, who is 24 hours with Lord Krishna, he is not able to recognize. Of course, now here is in a covered up mode for us so that Gita can be spoken. So here is saying Maya Pramada, because of my pride, and I was thinking that I'm equal to you, we are born on the same date or maybe a little before or after, we are of the same age, I was thinking, but it's not so. Just becoming of the same age, we don't become same in strength and power. That is what he's realizing, and that is where he realizes the greatness of the Supreme Lord. He is now very afraid, and he's saying, what else, what all I was doing with you? Vihara shayyashana bhojana bhojaneshu eko atha vapya achyutatam samaksham tad shamaye tvam aham aprameyam. Then he's asking for forgiveness. Shamaye is forgiveness. Tvam, from you. Aham, I am asking. Aprameyam, because why? I have committed immeasurable faults in my dealings with you. So the point is, even Arjuna has somewhere not understood the glory of Krishna, but here the devotees are seeing the Supreme Lord in his full glory and full strength. That is where they're able to recognize the potential of the Lord, the strength of the Lord. And same thing happens with us when we are chanting the holy name. Why do we feel asleep, or why do we feel very not very enthusiastic while chanting? Because we are not aware of the glories, or we have not tasted the nectar of the holy name. Otherwise, on the contrary, we see all the acharyas asking for thousands and thousands of tongues to chant and thousands of years to hear. Why? They are tasting. They want to taste continuously. So here, understanding the power of the Supreme Lord and His holy name is very, very crucial. That is why the Shabda, we know that Shabda Praman is the topmost Praman. But it should not just remain a Praman. That Praman should become validated when we experience the reality of what is being spoken here. So that Praman has to become an instrument for me to enter the pastime of the Lord. It has to become a reality for me. Otherwise, it will just remain an instrument. It will remain a praman. It will just be a statement. Yes, this Krishna is so beautiful. It's a statement. But when I relish the beauty of Krishna, when I experience the beauty of Krishna, that is where the statement turns into a reality for me. So we have to be continuously aware of what we have got. Just like holy name, if you consider one element of our devotional service, holy name. We chant every day. Just like I was hearing chanting of all you wonderful devotees here online. There was one story that Shikshashtram Prabhuji told us. He was saying that there was once a king who goes for hunting. And somewhere he gets lost in the forest and he reaches a village. In the village, he finds there are very few houses, and he enters one of the houses there because he's thirsty and he wants something to drink. And that is where he sees a very beautiful girl, and he starts liking her. Then he starts asking her various questions. Who are you? Who is your father? What do you do? What's your background? This, that, and so many things. And she's like very shy because She's not very comfortable speaking to such a royal person. She says, my father will come and he'll answer all your questions. And by the time her father comes and the king says, I'm the king of this country and I've been here, I got lost while hunting and I like your daughter. So is it okay? Would you give us the permission to get married? So the villager is very happy. He says, yes, why not? And officially he gets them, both of them married. Okay, now the king stays there for some time and then he says, I've lost my way. You now help me get out of this so that I can reach my kingdom and people are waiting there for me. Now the girl is also very happy that she has got married to a king. But the king says that I will not take your daughter now. I'll come back again after some time because I have to give this message to my countrymen. Otherwise, they won't accept it all of a sudden. I'll go back and then I'll send somebody and get this girl back to my kingdom. She says, okay. Then he leaves. And then after 4 or 5 months, one very simple looking person comes and he has a message in his hand. He has a letter in his hand and he gives that letter to the father of that girl. And in that letter it is written, kindly send your daughter with this man. He is my representative and please send her with this man. And now the onward journey starts. Now the girl is sitting in a palanquin and the person whom the king has sent is standing next to her guarding the palanquin. And all of a sudden she doesn't understand that she has got the same emotions which she had for the king. In short, she starts liking the person whom the king has sent. Now she's in such a great dilemma and she can't understand. I have been married to a king and I loved him so much, and all of a sudden this person comes here and I started liking him and I've got the same emotions for him. How is this possible? I'm not that kind of a girl. And she's very disturbed. What to do? And then all of a sudden, the person stops because he understands what is going in the heart of that girl. And that is where he discloses his identity, that I am the same king. Do not bother. You have real love for me. Your love is not tinged with any other emotions. So don't worry, I am the same person. So the point Prabhuji was making was, similarly, we know that Krishna is a person, but it is only through the holy name we will be able to reach Krishna. This name will get converted into the Rupa. Nama, Rupa, then Guna, and then Lila. That is how the sequence follows. So chanting has to be done with great care and affection, because that Nam is going to make us stand before Lord Krishna. The emotion that we develop for the holy name, that same emotions will we be having for the Supreme Lord. That is for sure. So our dealings with the holy name has to be very careful, because it is not different from Krishna. It is same person. Just like the king just came disguised, similarly Krishna has come in the Nama Rupa. He has come in the form of the holy name. So when we will be able to be very careful, when we understand the glories of the holy name. Just like they are offering obeisances after every word. Varshmane nama, bhumne nama nama, avastaya nama, and so many, continuously nama nama. Every word is followed by nama. Why? Because they are able to relate with the greatness of Lord Kurmadev. Now, if we, in most of the Indian temples, we have the Kurma deity just outside the temple. We just, for namesake, we just go and touch the Lord Kurma's deity and just move ahead to see the main altar. But why is that Kurma deity kept there? There is a purpose behind that Kurma deity. Kurma is supposed to be the giver of foundation, strong foundation for devotional life. That is why first we offer our respectful obeisances to Kurma Dev, so that he can make our spiritual foundation very strong. We also see in the life of His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that his father Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave him what deity first to worship? He gave him Kurma deities first to worship. Why? Because he understood the power of Lord Kurma. Once the person is steady in his spiritual practices, he can do miracles in service to Lord Krishna. So that foundation is very important for any sadhaka. Till the time we have a very strong foundation, you will not be able to understand the glories of the Lord. And for understanding the glories of the Lord, we have to daily hear. Hearing is our prime sadhana, is our first sadhana. Hearing. Holy name we hear, Katha we hear, Kirtan we hear. When we speak with each other about Krishna, we hear. Everything is hearing based. But what happens when we don't hear properly? The word that Prabhupada is translating is discernible. That is, we are not able to easily understand Lord Krishna in his various forms. And we commit the same mistakes as the Yadus did. Just like the moon which arises from the Samudra, the sea, and the fishes, they consider that it is like one of the fishes who stayed with us for some time and now is going up. Oh, and when it gets established in the orbit, that is where they realize that, oh, we committed such a blunder. He was staying with us, but we were thinking he's some kind of a fish staying with us. So that should not be our position. So the word, we'll just discuss on this one word, discernible. Prabhupada has written a beautiful purport to this. We'll take few examples from Bhagavad that even great devotees are at times not able to understand. They understand, but still, just like some devotee reaches a Shuddha Sattva stage, or he becomes a pure devotee. But if you ask him, how did you become a pure devotee? It will take time for him to tell you that, oh, this is the way I followed and I became a pure devotee. That is why Madhurya Kadamini is written for what? From Adav Shraddha to Prem. How do you go? And this is the common path, and these are the common problems, and this is how you handle the problem. That is why they have given Madhurya Kadamini. But for a newcomer, it becomes very difficult to understand the glories of Lord. Just like we here in Maharashtra, we have a saint named as Gajanan Maharaj. So it was his birth anniversary yesterday. So I was reading his biography because he's a very popular saint here in Maharashtra. So they asked me on behalf of Prabhupada ISKCON that you please come and give a talk on his life. So I was reading his life, and initially from the day he was seen by the people, he just creating miracles. And if you read the first section of his biography, there is nothing but miracles. I was thinking, what is this miracle, this and that? I was about to give up. I said, I won't be able to give a lecture on this. But at the end part of his biography, there are 4 chapters where he mentions the message for which he had come. And the mention was nothing else other than chanting the names of Lord Ram. He said, this is the essence and this is the way. That is where I got, oh, okay. Even why did he show all these miracles? It was only to catch hold of the people, attract their attentions to him, and then tell them about the glories of the holy name once they are ready. And the last four chapters essentially speak about the glories of Lord Vitthal, who is none other than Lord Dwarkadish Krishna, and the holy names of the Lord. He says this is the only way by which you can cross this ocean of material existence. So initially I was not able to connect with all the miracles. Every now and then he's showing some miracle and he's getting cured and they are getting cured and he's getting money. But it was all so that he could bring them to a point where they can accept what he says. So similarly, we have to go through this purification process and go through the various experiences only to come to a conclusion that yes, Krishna is there, Krishna is protecting me, and Krishna is there all the while with me. And when that understanding becomes very strong, then where is the question of fear? There is no question of fear. And there is no question of doubting Krishna and the events that are happening in our life. Let's take 3 examples. What these great personalities are saying about this one point, discernible, that Prabhupada is translated, means it can't be understood easily. So they are saying here, the devotees, when they're worshipping Kurvade, they are saying that you cannot be understood very easily, my Lord. So is it only they are saying? If you read Bhagavatam from first canto to the last canto, everybody is saying the same thing. Everybody is saying the same thing. You are not discernible. You cannot be understood easily. Let's take, for example, Kunti Maharani. So let's dive into the shlokas from Queen Kunti's prayers. This is first canto, 8th chapter, 18th shloka, 1:8:18. Okay, so this is just the starting of Kunti's prayer. She's saying, Kunti Uvacha, Namaste Purusham Tvadyam, Ishvara Prakrite Param, Alaksham Sarvabhutana, Antarbahir Avastitam. She's saying, you are the Supreme Personality of God. Ishvara, you are the controller beyond material nature. Prakrite Param, you are beyond the Prakriti. Alaksha Sarva Bhutana, and you are not visible to all. You are not visible to all. What to speak of understanding? One cannot be seen. How will you understand that? Antarbahir Avasti, and even after this, you are inside also and outside also. And Lord Krishna says, if I am within and without, Antar and Bahir, then why nobody approaches me? I am there as Paramatma. Externally, I am there as Guru and the Archa Vigraha form. So why nobody approaches me? That is where in the next shloka she is saying, Maya Javanika Achannam Agya Adokshajam Avyayam Nalakshase Mudadrisha Nato Natyo Dharayatha. She is saying, Maya Javanika. Javanika is a curtain. There is a curtain of illusion, ignorance, my Lord. Achannam, the jivas are covered by this illusory energy of yours. Agya, and that is why they have become ignorant about you. They are not able to understand you. Adhokshaja, and beyond that, what is your name? Atuksha, Akshaja. You are beyond the purview of the sense ability. You cannot be understood because you are beyond the capacity of the senses. Adhokshaja. You are transcendental. Avyayam, you are irreproachable. Na lakshase, you cannot be seen. By whom? Moodadrishaha. Those who are covered by your Maya Javanika, they cannot see you, my Lord. It becomes very difficult for them. Moodadrisha. How? Nata Natya Dharayatha. Natya Dhar is a player who has dressed up for a play. When a player gets up dressed for a drama, his face look and everything is changed. So you cannot easily understand him, who he is. But he's our friend. He's every day we sit with him, talk with him, eat with him. But when he changes his face, when he changes his costume, we are not able to understand who he is. Same thing happens, my dear Lord. Even though your internal, external, you are, even though you are irreproachable. Irreproachable means you are faultless. Even though you are faultless, but the jivas are full of faults, and that is why they cannot understand you. So the point is, here she is saying, if we want to see the Lord, if we want to understand the Lord, we also have to become faultless. We also have to become irreproachable. Prabhupada always gives this example. When an iron rod is put in a fire, it becomes fire. It becomes fire. Similarly, why are we doing Krishna Bhakti? Because we want to gain all the qualities of Lord Krishna. We also want to become irreproachable, faultless. Until the time we see fault in other devotees, in people around us, in the people of our family, people of our community, how will we be able to reach Krishna? Because just like the iron rod has to become fire to enter fire, similarly, we have to acquire all the qualities of Krishna to enter the spiritual world. That is why in 13th chapter, at the start of the chapter, Krishna has given 26 qualities. 16th chapter, again qualities. Why all these qualities are coming up? Because we want to acquire all these qualities so that we can fit in the relationship with Krishna. Lord is faultless. And how is the living entity in this condition? Mooda Drisha. He is only seeing faults. He is Mooda, he is faulty. Drisha, his vision is faulty. And how can such a faulty seer see the Lord? That is why she's saying, Nato Natya Dharayata. Just like a person dresses himself for a drama, is not easily understood, you are also not understood. Now Krishna is saying, oh, what is this curtain all about? What kind of curtain is there on the eyes of this devotee? Then she is saying, Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shribir Edamana Madapuman Naivarita Abhidhatum Vai Tvama Kinchana Gochara. She's saying Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shribir, Mana, Mada. Person has all these things, then he is not able to understand you, Lord. He feels that I don't need the Lord. Just check out when health is perfectly fine, financial planning has gone good, daughter is hearing, son is hearing, all relatives are being good to you. Is that time we feel the need of Krishna? No, sir, we don't feel the need of Krishna. Absolutely not. At least I don't feel the need of Krishna. When health is in peak, pink of the healthy god. Everything is good. Temple prasadam is good. Devotees are behaving good. All lectures are going good. But all of a sudden there is such a crisis and you feel, my God, Krishna, where are you? What comes first? Krishna, where are you? He's there, but were we looking to him? No. Why? Because Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri, Mana, Madha is creating all what? Pride. I don't need Krishna. I'll do devotional service because I have taken Diksha. I'll do my regulatory principles because I've made a promise to my Guru Maharaj. That doesn't work. How can we see Krishna? Last line. Tvam akinchana gochara. You are the property of the impoverished. Of the impoverished means what? Completely materially exhausted. Materially exhausted. Please understand this word. Materially exhausted. Prabhupada is so perfect in his every single word. Materially exhausted means you have no pride, even if you are having damn all good things in your life. You have wealth, you have best of the relationship, you have everything, but still you are feeling this is not the thing that my mind is desiring. I want that love of Krishna. That is a materially exhausted. Materially exhausted doesn't mean that you are like a beggar on the street. No. You don't feel connected to all those things. You don't feel the need of those things. You feel that I can survive even in the minimist, but what I need every moment is Krishna and his devotees and hearing about him. That is what she is calling as akinchana gochara. Then Krishna asks, what is your opinion? Do I reciprocate with the akinchana? Then she's saying, Namo akinchana vittaya navritta guna vrittaye atmaramaya shantaya kaivalya patayana. She says, Namo akinchana, oh my Lord, I bow down. Again, she's bowing down. Why? Because you are akinchana vitta, you are the property of whom? Akinchana. Kincha means little. Akincha means what? Nothing. Not even little. Akinchana vittaye, or materially impoverished. Not in the sense of real, but from within they are feeling material assets don't please my senses anymore. That is materially impoverished. Nivritta, and how are they? Nivritta guna. They're transcendental to the actions of the three mode. Means the wealth that is arising from the three modes. This is what the translation also says. Prabhupada will say in that. He's saying that they have no material wealth which is arising from the three modes. Most of the time devotees, they ask this question, this person is so bad and he's having so much of riches. That is not Lakshmi, that is not Radharani's energy. What is that? That is Durga Shakti. Please understand, there is a difference because that is coming from the three modes. And this vitta about which Kunti Maharani is speaking, she is speaking about the vitta which is given to us by Srimati Radharani. And what is that vitta? That is vitta of service to Lord Krishna. She doesn't give it so easily. Please understand, this is a very crucial point. We fail to understand. The vitta of Krishna's seva, she is the owner. And who is the owner of the material world? Material wealth? Durga Ji. She gives it if you worship her. But this wealth is not accessible to all. Till the time, how? Akinchana. Not even kinchan, little. Not even little. And even if in that case, what happens? Atma Ramaya Shanta. The Lord loses all his interest, has lost all his interest in whom? The non-devotees. Shantaya. And he remains Shanta to whom? So Atmaram is for non-devotees and Shanta is for devotees. Why Shanta? Just because he is Atmaram satisfied, he is Shanta? No. He is Shanta to what? He is Shanta to the devotees, even in the due course of their devotional service, even if they commit offense to him, he is Shanta. He says, okay, let it be, no problem. Just like Prabhupada gives this example. A child in the womb of a mother, when he's in the womb, he starts rotating in the womb. You have seen this? And the child at times kicks the mother. And the mother feels the pain. She feels the jerk. But does the mother feel offended? Oh, he's hurting me. No, she's happy. She's happy because what? Why? Because she understands, yes, my baby is healthy and happy. That is why he's playing inside. Similarly, the Lord understands, oh, I know you are going through the struggle. And in that anger, you are speaking harsh words to me, but it's okay. I can understand that. That's the way it happens. So Krishna is happy, Shanta, in reciprocation with the devotee. He's not hurt, pain. Kaivalya Pataye Nama. And that Lord helps the devotees, the sadhaka, to achieve Kaivalya. Kaivalya means not oneness. That oneness is in terms of the desire of the Lord. I will now follow the plan of the Lord. That Kaivalya, that liberation, He helps the devotee achieve it. That is what Kaivalya Pataye Nama. Again she is saying, Nama, I offer my respectful obeisance to the Lord. Now the Lord is saying, even then the confusion is not solved. Why? Because still there are so many mysteries and unclarity about the Lord's activities. Kunti Devi is saying, at the end she says in 1:8:29, now she is saying, Krishna looks partial to some people. Krishna, she is saying, looks partial to some people. Why? Naveda kashchit bhagavan chikirchitam taveham manasya nrinam vidambanam na yasya kashchit daito shri akarhichit veshyasya yasmin vishama matir nrinam. She's saying, my dear Lord, Naveda, people don't understand you properly. Naveda kashchit bhagavan chikirshitam. What do they don't understand? They don't understand your chikirshitam, your pastimes clearly. Drinam is who? People in general. Vidambanam. And how do they understand or how do they take your pastime? Vidambanam, misleading. They don't understand, yes, this is the way Krishna acts and there is a purpose. They don't understand. They feel it is misleading. Just like we always hear about Rasli. People feel it's misleading for the society. No. It's the lust in our heart which doesn't allow us to understand the pure love between Krishna and the gopis. We feel it is misleading because our heart is dirty. Nayasya kashit daita. And they say sometimes this person, Krishna, he offers what? Daita, favors. And sometimes karhichit dvesha, and sometimes he feels envy to others. Yasmin vishama, and this is how he acts partially. He is not equal to all. He just says samovam sarvabhuteshi, but he actually is not equal. Sometimes he is partial, dvesha, and sometimes they favors. Mati Nrina, and this is the conception of the people in general, and that is why, my dear Lord, all your activities they are not able to understand. That's the same thing. What the first word which we do, not able to understand the Lord as He is. Krishna is saying, oh, what's there? So much of controversy. Then she gives 2 points. 1:8:30. The next shloka. She says, Janma karma cha vishwatman ajasya akartur atmana tirya drishu yadasu tat atyanta vidambanam. She says, my dear Lord, there is so much of contradiction in your activities. He says, what is the contradiction? She says, Janma karma cha vishwatman. All your janma and your karma. Oh, even if you are the Vishwa Atman, you are the soul of the universe. Without you, this universe cannot sustain, my dear Lord. If you leave your energy, the entire universe will collapse. In the Karnadaksha is in the ocean, causal ocean. It will collapse because of you. It is sustaining Vishwa Atman. And what is so contradictory? Your Janma. You call yourself Ajanma, and then we see you taking birth from the womb of Devaki and Vasudeva. What is this? Your karma, you said you should follow all the standard rules and regulations given by the society, and there we see you are performing Ras Leela, and here you are performing marriage ceremony with 16,108 wives. Vidambanam, it is so bewildering, it is so confusing. And then all of a sudden we see you, Tirya, Drishu, Jadatu, we see you taking different forms of animal, mane, sages, aquatics. You come in so many forms. It is really bewildering for us, my Lord. Lord is asking, what is so bewildering? It's a part of my Leela. Then in the next shloka she says, Gopyo dade tvaikritag siddham tavat yate dasha shukla lajja sambramaksha bhaktram niniya bhava bhavanaya stitasya samam vimohayati bhari bhahyado viveti. She's saying, Gopi. Do you remember, Lord? Gopi, that Gopi. Which Gopi? Adade tvai kritagasi. Krita agasi. Do you remember that time when you broke the pot? Kritagasi. And for breaking that pot, Dam Tavat, she tied you with the rope. Do you remember that? Gopi, your mother, Yashoda? Oh. And what happened when she tied? Yate Dasha. What was your Dasha? Te Dasha means your Dasha. Ashru Kalila Anjana. Your eyes were filled with ashrus, tears. Your time factor and all the demigods representing you and your power make people cry. And that is the time Ashru Kalila Anjana, you were crying, and the mascara which was there on your eyes, it was getting spread all over your face. And why? Vaktram Nininya. When you were rubbing your eyes, that ointment came downwards. Nininya is downwards. And due to what reason? Bhaya Bhavanaya Sitasya. You are fearing your mother. And who fears you? Anybody and everybody fears you, and you are fearing your mother. And this is very contradictory. Can't understand. Samam Vimohiti, I am bewildered. What to speak of me, even though I am your devotee. Others, what to speak of others? Even great demigods like Lord Shiva and Brahma are not able to figure out what is happening with you. And all of a sudden, when your mother ties and goes, and your friend comes, and you start laughing and giggling with them, what is this? Either you cry, or either you are happy, or either you are sad. So mixture of all emotions you are showing in. This is bewildering to me. Then the question is, so when will I be able to see the Lord as he is and understand him without any contradiction? And in the 36th shloka, she is saying, Shrunvanti gayanti granantya bhikshasa smaranti nandanti tavehitam jana ta eva pashyanti chirena tavakam bhava pravaho param padambujam. She is saying, Shrunvanti, when I hear about you, gayanti, when I sing your glories, grananti, abhikshnasha, continuously, smaranti, remember, nandanti, this is the most important word. Do we feel that pleasure when we hear about Krishna? Do we relish the pastimes of Krishna? Sometimes we will be like, I've heard this Leela so many times. Yeah, here is the shloka. Shrinvanti, hearing, gayanti, chanting, abhikshnasa, continuously, smaranti, remembering, nandanti, taking pleasure, ihitam, in your activities. Do we have that? Are we relishing the pastime? No. Then what is the solution? The solution is continuously keep hearing about Lord Krishna. There is no other solution. If you have no taste in chanting, what is the solution? Prabhupada says, keep chanting, keep chanting. One day you will get taste for chanting. We will. That is how we will succeed in our spiritual life. We have to continue. Shrinvanti, Gayanti, Smaranti, Tavahitam, your activities. And what will happen one day then? Pashyanti Achirena, and very soon, Achira is very soon. Pashyanti, see, Tavakam, we will be able to see you. There, this is what Kunti Maharani is saying. Just by what? Shrinvanti, Gayanti, Smaranti. And how? Nandanti, with pleasure, happily. Okay, even though I know this fasting, but there is something that that has been spoken about Lord Krishna, and I have to hear that. And that is how my heart will get purified, and I'll be able to understand Krishna. And how will that happen? If there is Nandanti, if you are hearing about Krishna with pleasure, it is saying, Pashyanti Achirena Tavakam, we'll be very soon be able to see you without delay. Proper translate, without delay, we'll be able to see Krishna. And what will happen? Bhava Pravaha Upararama. And the flow of this birth and death, the current of rebirth will stop, and we will get settled Padambujam at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So this is one person, one realization. And same realization every now and then by each person, same realizations will come, only the format will change. There is nothing else. If we want to understand Krishna, we have to Shrinvanti, Gayanti, Smaranti. How? Nandanti, with pleasure. We do this, Achirena Tavakam, very short, in a short period of time. Now, devotees are short period means next year, 6 months, 8 months? No. That is decided by either your Guru Maharaj or Lord Krishna. Only two people decide. How quick that is. Based on the purificatory process. How eager we are for purification and how eager we are to see Krishna. That eagerness is how our Guru Maharaj will help us see Krishna. It is possible even in this lifetime. In ISKCON, we have so many devotees who have seen Krishna here when they were in this material body. There are devotees. The books which have come up. So it is not a very great thing to see Krishna. He is there in our hearts. We can see him in a deity form. We can hear him in his holy names. But what is missing is Nandanti. We don't feel pleasure. Why we don't feel pleasure here? Because due to the various anarthas in our mind, we are not able to have that intensity to connect to Krishna. That is why Prabhupada is saying emergency. Why? The time is short. We don't know how long we will be here in this body. And if we don't make proper use of this, then things may change. Just like Bhishma Dev. Next chapter, absolute next chapter of this. What is happening? Bhishma Dev is on the bed of arrows. Now, bed of arrows, just like when we went to Kumbh Mela, there was one yogi who had all these pins, sharp needles, and he was sleeping on the bed of the needles. Bhishma Dev was not like that. It was half outside the body, half on either side, and part of it inside. And that is how you sleep. Okay, it is not sleeping on the bed of arrow. It is the arrow in the body, and then you sleep. Sleep means you are in a lying position, not even sleeping. Can you imagine the kind of pain that he must be going? And in that painful situation where his hands are full of arrows, till his neck, everything is full of arrows. Till his neck, everything is full of arrows. Only thing he can do is voice, tongue, eyes. That's it. Only these organs he can use. And the great sages, when they come, even in that painful situation, is worried about how will I be able to serve them? How will I be able to serve them? That is what is going on in his mind. In this situation. And apart from that, when the sages go, now he has to take care of Yudhishthira. How? By giving him proper knowledge. And he has to speak. And he's continuously answering to Yudhishthira's question. Can you imagine the painful situation? And that is where he's happily, peaceful, and giving every answer very peacefully, thinking deeply. Not an easy task. Not an easy task. But he did this practice. Mahabharata mentions this, that he did this brahmacharya vrata. Why? Because he had that intense desire to remember Krishna. So externally seeming his brahmacharya vrata was due to his father. Okay, that's an external reason. The internal reason is he wanted to understand Krishna. He wanted to remember Krishna. That is what Bhagavad is glorifying. The 9th chapter is what? Bhishma Dev's departure. Why is it coming in the Amala Purana? Because he was an Amala devotee. He was a pure devotee. Simple. And he is glorifying Lord Krishna. He is serving with his eyes. He is serving with his words. He is serving with his voice. Everyone who is coming, he is serving them. He is serving them. Why? Because he has practiced seeing Krishna in all situations. Otherwise, great demigods are also not able to understand Krishna. Just like we see in 10th canto, 27th chapter, Indra takes Mother Surabhi to Lord Krishna. And there he is saying the same things what Mother Kunti has said. Vishuddha sattvam tavadhama santam tapo mayam vasta rajastamasma. He is saying you are free from all 3 modes. You're above 3 modes. They don't touch you. But we are foolish. We get stuck up in 3 modes. And that is why I did all this nonsense. And immediately later on, when Lord Krishna, when they enter, when Satyabhama sees that Lord Krishna has got this Parijata flower, Satyabhama fights with Lord Krishna, says, I want Parijat tree. And she is not ready to settle for anything less. She's saying, I want that. And that same Indra, who has just said, we cannot understand you because we are covered by 3 modes. That same Indra is fighting with Lord Krishna when Krishna takes the tree. And just now he released you from Bhaumasur and you are still behind him. Why? 3 modes are so powerful that even Indra was not able to, for some time, he forgot the grand position of. He also felt that what? Hey, he also listens to his wife, just like I listen to my wife, Sachi. He also listens to him, to Satyabhama. That is what his conception was. That is what his conception was. And that is why, first canto, 11th chapter, 35th shlok, they mention this. When Krishna enters Dwarika. So, Eshanar lokesmin avtirna swamayaya reme stri ratna kutasto bhagwan prakrito yatha. Same point again. They are saying the same point. We are not able to understand the Lord. Saha, the Supreme Lord. Eshanar loke, when it comes to this human world, asmin avatirna, having appeared, swamayaya, by his internal potency, reme stri ratna, he is enjoying with the stri ratna. Now they are not called only stri. They are called stri ratna. Dwell amongst the women, Stri Ratna. He is enjoying with them. Kutastha Bhagwan Prakrita. How is this person a Supreme Lord? He is playing here with all females of the Dwarka. Best of the women of Dwarka. They are not able to understand. They think that this is an mundane affair of the Lord. Then in the next shloka, 36 shloka, they are saying, no, the Lord's senses were not agitated by the association of these ladies. Uddama bhava pisuna malavalgu hasa vridavalokha nihito vaduno piyasam sammuyya chapama jahat pramadottamaste yasyendriyam vimahitutum kuhukerna sheku. His senses were not at all agitated. Even when the Cupid struck Lord Shiva was agitated. But here we see, in spite of having so many females around, and the best, Stri Ratna, Ratna is very precious, and the precious of all the women means they had the best of the qualities to serve the Lord and please the Lord. But was the Lord satisfied by their sensual activities? No. This shloka says no. He was satisfied by the unconditional love that they gave to the Lord through their service. Tam ayam manyate loko ya asangam api sanginam. They are saying that it was only by their seva, pure service, that the Lord was pleased by them. Otherwise, there is no other way to please the Lord. And when the Lord is pleased, He Himself will come to us and disclose His real identity before us. Some say that the Lord associated with the Yadus, and that is why He was also affected by the 3 modes. And He fought with so many demons, and the demons, they were in 3 modes, and that is how He got affected. They say, no, etat ishanam ishasya prakristha api tad gunai na yujyate sadatmasthe yatha buddhi tad ashrayah. They are saying the divine personality of the Supreme Godhead was not affected by the qualities of the 3 modes. Even though He is in contact with them, people of those who are in the lower modes, He is not affected. The devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord also do not get influenced by the 3 modes if they are in constant association of the Supreme Lord. There are various n number of pastimes and devotees who have glorified Krishna. We have Kunti, we saw Kunti, Arjun, Bhishma, we saw Prahlad Maharaj. Narsimhadev concealed his identity as Vishnu. He came as half lion, half man. He has concealed his identity. Why? Because not everybody could understand. That is where they are saying, oh, who is he? Is he a lion or is he a man? Dwarika Vasi, we saw how they thought that he is one of us, but then the Krishna, then they realized only the Paramatma form of the Lord, not the Supreme Person. Lord bewildered even Lord Shiva is moving most. What to speak? But it was only by the unalloyed love of the gopis that the Lord could not keep himself concealed. Just like we see when Lord Krishna, at some point he disappeared and the gopis were searching, and on the way they saw Narayan form of the Lord. So they just bowed down. But when it came to Srimati Radharani, Krishna could not keep himself hidden in the form of Lord Narayan. No. He had to disclose. Love became so uncontrolled that all of the four hands, the two hands disappeared automatically. That is why we have to continuously be in touch of Krishna, so that these three modes don't cause confusion about the greatness of the Supreme Lord. What to speak of the Supreme Lord? Just some eternal associate of the Lord, one of the eternal associates of the Lord, is glorified so greatly in the Shastra. Just like I was hearing to this pastime of Yamuna Devi. Once in the court of Akbar, there was a huge debate that who is great, Ganga ji or Yamuna ji is great. So the local pandits, they glorified Mother Ganga, that she is Papanashini and she is coming she is flowing all the three lokas, this and that. And there was nobody to defend the glory of Mother Yamuna. So all the devotees, they thought that it would be only one way, because Ganga ji is glorified and not Yamuna ji. So then then King Akbar, he asked that, is there anybody who can also tell about the glory of Yamuna ji? So the people said there is only one person who can do this, and that is Srila Jiva Goswami. And Akbar sent his messengers to Jiva Goswami and telling him that, please, you come here and establish the glory of Mother Yamuna. He said, no, I have taken Kshetra Sannyas. I don't go beyond the limits of Braj. So I won't be able to come. This is the message he sent. And then Akbar, he said that, okay, it's okay that we respect your Kshetra Sanya, but it is but we want to hear the glories of Yamuna. So we'll give you a palanquin which will be ready at the Brahma Muhurta. You sit in that, come to Delhi, establish your thoughts about Yamuna Devi, and then you come back. Within one day, we'll get you back there in Vrindavan. He said, okay. Then Jiva Goswami goes there. And Jiva Goswami, he says, neither my glorification of Ganga or your glorification of Ganga is any fruitful. We have to consider the opinion of Vyasdev, who is great among Ganga and Yamuna. That is where he quotes from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, saying that Krishna not just played in Yamuna, just didn't touch Yamuna, he married Yamuna. And he had sons and daughters from Mother Yamuna. He was the Pattarani, one of the primary queens of Lord Krishna. One of the four most prominent queens of Lord Krishna, one of them was Yamuna. And that is how he establishes the glory of Mother Yamuna within a very short period of time. And everybody is very clear that even at the time, Gangaji wants Yamuna to enter her, because only Yamuna Devi is capable of giving Krishna Prem. She can bestow that Krishna Prem on any sadhaka. And that is where everybody is so happy when they hear the glories of Mother Yamuna. And Lord, then this Akbar, King Akbar, he says, I'm so happy that you have established the glory of Mother Yamuna. So you ask for anything. That is where Jiva Goswami says, I don't want anything. I need paper to write, because I have so many literatures and I am falling short of paper. And that is where Akbar, he gives him a lot of money. And he says, from every month, you just tell the amount of paper you want, we'll supply it there in Vrindavan. It will be there at your desk by the day you sing. And that is how he is sent back to Vrindavan. And on the way, when he comes, he sees Ganga Devi flowing, and he gets down from his palanquin. He offers his obeisances to Mother Ganga. And he says, I sang your glories. And just because I sang your glories, the king gave me this huge amount of gold coins. So he offers the gold coins in Yamuna Devi. And he says, this paper, with the paper that I have got, I'll glorify your husband, Lord Krishna. That is the glory of one single associate of Lord Krishna. There are so many pastimes where Krishna says, I don't disclose my identity to anybody and everybody. It is only when a person has that strong faith. Even we see in the life of Padmapad, who is disciple of Adi Shankaracharya. He is meditating on Lord Nrsimhadev, and the hunter comes. He says, tell me, I will search that animal. He says, half lion, half man. He says, there is nothing like this. He says, no, it is there. You go. And he searches, and Lord reveals himself to the hunter, but not to Padmapad. Why? No devotion. But the hunter had faith and devotion in the words of what Padmapad said. If he is saying, that means it has to be true. He is going in. He says, the Lord is there. Can't you see? He says, I can't see. Then the hunter is saying, the Lord, he cannot see you. Then the Lord Nrsimhadev says, he doesn't have a devotion for. That is why I will not reveal it to him. Hunter, what is his business? What is his profession? He is killing animals every day. Lord is visible, not visible. He has held the Lord. He has tied the Lord by his ropes. There are so many events. The Lord is not easily accessible. Because the Lord, initially as a sadhaka, he wants us to get completely purified so that we can associate with him. And when we become purified, he again leaves us. He is not easily accessible. Why? Because that is the point where he wants to keep relishing the Vipralamba Bhav, the association of the Lord in separation, just like we see in case of gopis. So both where Krishna will not disclose so easily, because both have a purpose. First is purification, and second is glorification. Glorification of the gopis. Even in that intense separation, when Krishna left when he was 11 years old, till the time when Krishna was 125 years old, all the gopis were there in intense separation, only crying. They are glorified. Why? Because they were continuously serving the Lord in that separation. So initially also Lord will not disclose. Later also Lord will not come in the forefront, because he wants us to relish higher and higher rasa, which come as a flow of event in the life of sadhaka. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for kind and patient hearing. Kindly excuse me if I have committed any mistakes in my talk, trying to glorify Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for wonderful pastimes and telling us, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please, devotees, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Such a nice class, Prabhuji, telling about the fastings and the Kunti prayers and Bhishmaji prayers. So, Prabhuji, I have this question. Like we know, like Indra was bewildered so many times, and even Brahma also is getting bewildered, right? So, being in so much exalted position, how they are. Like after doing so many pious activities, only they have got that position, right? So then how come they are getting bewildered to God's actions?
Brahmaji, according to Bhagavatam, he has got bewildered only first time during the creation and second time during the Brahma Vimon Leela, because that is where Krishna, during the initial phase of creation, he didn't reveal to him the Vrindavan pastimes. But it is there that he allows him to have a glimpse of Vraj Bhakti and Vrajavas. That is where he discloses that flavor of the topmost flavor of devotional service to Lord Brahma. But it is only once during the time of creation is got bewildered, and the second time is here. So Brahmaji case doesn't fit too much because he is personally favored by the Lord. In the second canto, we see Lord himself is saying that you will not be bewildered by the three modes and my material energy, because for that you continuously meditate on my lotus feet. Yes, in case of Indra, it does happen simply because there is a power of association that Indra has to be in. Okay, here he comes here, he does a mistake and he gets association of Lord Krishna, he sees Lord Krishna, but that doesn't sustain for long, because as soon as he goes back there, he has that kind of association. And second part is he's not completely purified, just like Nalkuar and Manigrave were completely purified, because they had to go through that tough phase of purification. And that is where Krishna personally says that, okay, now I allow you, you go back to your places, and there you go and sing my glories. So there is personal empowerment from Krishna. Indra, every now and then, just because of intervention of either Brahaspati or Brahmaji, in Prithu Maharaj, Brahmaji comes to save him. When he does a blunder, Brahaspati's guru comes to save him. Here in Govardhan Lila, he's committing a blunder, Survi comes to save him. So every time what my mind tells me, okay, people are saving me, so I will get my punishment, but then I'm allowed to do what I'm. So that also affects. So there is no full length purification for Indra that is happening. Then, just like we see in case of Nalkuar Mani, full length purification. Then they come to understanding this is all messy, this is all useless. And Vishwanath Chakravarti says, when they go back, they are only chanting the glories of Lord Krishna. So that is not happening in case of Lord Indra. That is why we see him committing same mistakes again and again.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. But one thing is, they have got that position because they have done some pious, means like they have done some tapasya.
Right. There is no devotion in that.
They have got that position. So being in that great position, so how they are, like we are okay, we are sadhakas. So we are like, at least to me, like we have to get purified and then only we can see Krishna. But they have done tapasya, and in one way God has given that position, right? So why this bewilderment is coming for them, and why they are fighting with the Lord itself?
Okay, there are two things, Mataji. One is punya, another is sukruti. These are two different things. When you do a lot of punya, then you get position of Indra, just like Shatakritu. When you perform 100 Ashwamedh Yajna, you fulfill that criteria, you are made Indra. There is no devotional part in that, right? Okay. There is no part of devotion in that. Requirement for becoming Indra is no devotional grace. If you do this thing which are told in the Vedas, you become Indra. Shatakritu, and that is.
So then it's like karma kanda activities.
Yes. Yes. Yavima pushpitam vacha pravabanti vipaschita. They say that's the final goal. They feel this is the final goal. Okay, becoming Indra and enjoying life there. But they don't understand that when that pious activities are finished, they have to come back again here.
Okay.
And Sukruti is what gives you spiritual credits, and it helps you evolve. Punya will not help you evolve. It is only going up, coming down, going up, coming down.
Okay. Yeah. So Sukruti is like we are getting the blessings.
Spiritual credits. Just like Krita Punja Punya. Bhagavad 10 Canto says about the Gopasaka that they have committed, and the translation for Punya, there is not Karma Kanda activity. Sukruti, spiritual credit. They had accumulated so much of spiritual credits that they could play with Krishna. They could be with Krishna face to face. So these are two different things.
Okay, so and what if the Sukruti is coming from the demigods? Like there are people that they worship demigods, and they do all like sacrifices and rituals for the demigods.
No, that also
so
comes
they
under
do not
Karma Kanda purview. That also
Karma
comes
Kanda,
under Karma Kanda purview. That is not Sukruti. Sukruti is
but we
purely
can pray
devotional.
to them.
Yeah, surely.
We can pray to the demigods, right?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Please.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Beautiful class.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so very much. I have just a couple of questions. One of them is a little technical question I was wondering about. So that the pastime, thank you so much for that pastime with Jiva Goswami, establishing the greatness of Yamuna Devi. And as you were saying that, I was wondering, when it comes to, when we hear these pastimes about the acharyas establishing, certain things, does that mean that they are revealing it, that it wasn't known before? Or is it that they're just that no one knew it before? or is it that they're bringing it to the forefront and making it more well known?
Yeah, the same thing which Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter. In the passage of time, the knowledge gets covered. The same thing happens with all the great devotees and their position also, because the core knowledge of bhakti also gets covered, and that is what Krishna has come here to give. Part job is done by Krishna, but when Krishna left, according to the circumstances, they have to make certain provisions so that his knowledge that Krishna has given stays longer with the people. And that is why these events are planned by Lord Krishna, so that it becomes a memory for the people. Okay, this is what has happened, and this was what was quoted by the great acharyas.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That makes so much sense. And then my other question was something else that was very beautiful that you said in the beginning about in order to see Krishna, we have to develop a relationship with the holy name and understand the greatness of the holy name in order to reach Krishna. And I was just wondering if you could just share a little bit. I see someone else, some more hands are up, but if you could just share a few things about the greatness of the holy name, just for inspiration's sake. Because you're always so inspiring, and I need that right now.
I'm not eligible to speak about holy name because I do chant with great attention. I try. But even I am not completely been able to develop my love. But yes, one thing I remember about holy name is just like we say, holy name is Chintamani. So yes, holy name is Chintamani, because just like Krishna within the heart understands the desire of a sadhaka, similarly, holy name being a person also understands our emotions, our needs. So even if we don't ask, just like I'll share my personal example, kindly excuse me. There was a time when I also had difficult phases because I had to take care of my parents. My brother was not looking to them. So it was really a mess for me. My sadhana also was not in a very proper form and shape. But there was a time when I was able to partly chant in temple hall, and 8 rounds or next remaining extra rounds, I used to chant somewhere somehow. And I was not feeling that strength. Then I was really feeling very low. And there is one devotee who comes, he's a grahastha, very sincere person. And it was almost like a month I had a rough phase. And I was not able to correlate of things, what is happening, how to get out of this. And somehow, I don't know what Paramatma told me that you go and speak to him. He was sitting and chanting. And I said, we are very good friends, even though he's Grasta, but we sit together and discuss Krishna Katha. I said, it's not a very good phase. I'm going through a very rough phase. The only question that he asked me was, how do you chant your 16 rounds? That's the only thing he asked. And that was sufficient for me to get the answers. That my quality chanting was reflected in the difficulties that I was going through. It's not that because of inattentive chanting it was coming, but I didn't have sufficient strength to deal with the problem, and the very reason was my inattentive chanting. And the next day I made chanting my first priority, and in week or 10 days things became very comfortable, and again started all my seva and sadhana. So holy name understands what is required for you at what given point of time. So sincere and attentive chanting will help us go through all the crises easily and smoothly. That is my understanding of. Sorry, it is petty, but that's what I could speak.
That was so beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji. That was exactly what I needed to hear. Yes, you are that devotee for me, the one that so I appreciate it.
We are always looking forward to be with wonderful devotees from
Thank
West.
you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Archana Mataji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, do you have any time, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Mataji, I have 5 minutes. After that, I'll have to wind up.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. This is Antaranga Seva Devidasi. Prabhu, I just wanted to clarify, were you like mentioning about Gajanan Maharaj?
Yeah. Correct. Right. Yes.
So this question is for my mother actually. She is like
Yeah.
a devotee of Gajanan Maharaj.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
but from her, whatever I have heard, that this is because I want to help her. So
Yeah.
he used to chant Gan Gan Ganata Bote all the time. And like you were mentioning that in the last 4 chapters, you read that he was actually glorifying the holy name.
Yeah.
So can you please help me understand so that I
Yeah,
can
there is
also tell her?
one chapter where there is Bhaskar Rao, a devotee of his name Bhaskar Rao. Okay.
Yes.
So if you read that pastime, it is very clear. When Bhaskar Rao is bitten by a bad dog, and he's badly struck by the trauma, and his whole body is in great pain because of that dog bite. And Gajanan Maharaj is somewhere in the next town, and this person is constantly remembering him very intensely. And just before a day, or on the day when he's about to leave his body, even he's not, Bhaskara is also not knowing that he has to leave his body, but he has got a signal that this is the last phase of his life. Okay, so that story, when he's intensely remembering Gajanan Maharaj appears there, and Gajanan Maharaj tells him, Bhaskara, now this is your last day. And then he asked, Bhaskara asking 2 questions. How are great personalities like you not getting entangled in the karma cycle? And that is where, in that event, he is quoting, Gajanan Maharaj is quoting from Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter. Where the Lord is saying that I am not attached to the fruits of the action that I do. And that is how great sages also act. That is exactly the same thing what Lord Krishna is saying in 4th chapter. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phalisya. I am not attached to the karma phala. That is why I am not getting any results. And that is why I constantly engaged in Lord service. Then second question Bhaskara is asking, how do I now achieve liberation from this material world? That is where he says, Arey, don't you know there is only one person who can give you liberation? And who is that? Dwarikadish, Pandarinath, Vitthal. And that is where he starts chanting Vitthal, 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 Vitthal. And just chanting Vitthal, Vitthal, he leaves his body and he returns back. That is how he attains liberation. That is how the story flows. So it's so simple that he's at the end, fag end moment of the life. What is the last message that I would give to somebody to achieve liberation? He says, chant holy name. That becomes the final message. And the last 4 chapters, if you read properly, it clearly says only 2 things. He says clearly only 2 things. Vitthal Bhakti, Rama Bhakti, and Ram Nam. That's the only 2 saviors. And he is very clear in his proposal that don't make me God. I am man of God. But most of the followers have made him God because of the miracles that he has shown. Yeah. But if you read it properly, there is no evidence that he has himself said himself as God. And there is huge clarity that he is constantly telling people to chant holy names. And the point, he is chanting Gan Gan Ganata Bote because his name is Gajan. And most people feel that he is avatar of Gajan, Lord Ganesha. Okay, that is why he is called Gajanan Maharaj. But if we read the scriptures, even Gajanan, Lord Ganesha is chanting names of Lord Krishna. Even if that is true, he is avatar of Lord Ganesha. Still the point will end up chanting in the holy names of Lord Krishna.
Very nice explanation, sir. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll stop. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhu, for explaining us again the prayers of Queen Kunti and the word discernible in detail. Right? Yeah, it was very pleasurable to hear those prayers again, Prabhu. So, Prabhuji, this comparison of Yamuna and Ganga, like how do we understand, Prabhu? Like Ganga Devi also is a devotee, right? She was being touched by the lotus feet of Vamana Deva, and then she flew, right? So when we compare like 2 devotees like that, how do we understand, Prabhu? Like, not to belittle Ganga Devi also.
Yeah. Ganga Devi, her glories increased during the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. There is a pastime that happens where after Lord Krishna leaves this material world and goes back to a spiritual kingdom, and Yamuna ji is feeling intense separation from Lord Krishna. That is where Ganga ji comes and asks her what's happening. So she's saying, I'm feeling intense separation from Lord. So she says, Lord played with you, Lord was with all his friends, he used to every day come and visit you. You are so fortunate, you are married to him, you are so glorious, and you are also Bhakti Pradhan, you give Bhakti. And then Ganga ji, after leaving from that place, she also has the desire that Lord should also come and enjoy his pastimes in me. That is where she goes and performs tapasya. Lord Chaitanya appears to her and she says that, okay, I am Krishna and I'll be coming in Kali Yuga, and that is the time exclusively I'll be dedicated to giving you joy. And that is why Mahaprabhu appears on the bank of Ganga in Mahabharata, where he's described Ganga Tire. At the he takes birth near the banks of Lord Ganga. So we are not to belittle the greatness of Mother Ganga, but yes, both have different roles. The exclusive purpose of appearance of Mother Ganga was for what? If we see, why was she called here? She was not ready to come to this Martyaloka. Okay, why was she called? She was called not for giving love of God to the 60,000 sons of Sagar Maharaj, but to clear them of the sin of troubling Lord Kapila. That is where Lord Kapila burns them to ashes, and they don't get further destination. That is why the Kula of Sagar Maharaj, so many great people came, and then we see one of them, Bhagirath Rishi, he calls for Ganga, because that is how they'll be freed from the sins. So her advent was exclusively meant for purification from the sins and all the other backgrounds. But Yamuna ji was not like that. Yamuna was exclusively got down. Radharani says, I want Yamuna with me. Without her and Govardhan, I will not go down. So her descent was exclusively meant to give Vraja Prem to anybody and everybody who takes bath in her. So the purposes of appearance are different.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. What was that book you are referring to, Prabhu, for Gajananda Maharaj, that you were talking about some pastime?
It is Gajanan Vijay. It is his biography written by his close associates. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
We'll stop.
Yes, Prabhuji. Oh, sorry. Padma Mataji, please take over.
Thank you, Mataji. Sorry. Prabhu, thank you so much, Prabhu, for wonderful pastimes and such a nectarian class. As always, just to you make us stick to it. So many comments in the chat also. Senabandhu Prabhaji is telling about how your thing is so good. It's flow like waters of Yamuna and are extraordinary, and immediately we just feel spiritually uplifted and more.
It is by their association that
thank
has
you
come.
So much, Prabhu. So many devotees are just. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Whenever Mataji and Prabhuji, when you come to India, please, I would like to associate with you and serve both of you here in India. Whenever you plan, please do come.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for endless, because we want to have you more often, Prabhu. Let's pray our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Krishna Paranda ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhu ji ki jai.